used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror. Look a little closer, stare a little longer, because there's something inside you that made you keep trying despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and signed it yourself. You signed it, they were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell but never told. Because how can you hold your ground if everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong.
Hey there everybody, it's Mr. Sunroad, your creative writing teacher, and I'm just here to explain what your final assignment for creative writing class is going to be this year. Basically everybody is going to be expected to do what's part of our open mic sharing cafe ceremony. When I say cafe, it means we're going to be eating and drinking to celebrate our end of the year and all of our work throughout the year. So what you're going to be doing is selecting a piece of writing that you consider your most exciting or something that you're proud of that you want to share with the class in a short 2 to 3 minutes or so of reading aloud. You will come up to the front of the room and share your work at a podium. And remember that poetry is meant to be read aloud, and that creative writing a lot of times is written to be read aloud. So you're going to want to read your piece of writing with expression and with diction and at a volume that we can all understand, and that shows us that you're emotionally or somewhat connected and that your voice is connected to the writing itself. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to get up in front of the class, you're going to say the title of your piece. You might give it a little backstory, like whether it's a poem, perhaps something about what inspired the writing. You might talk a little bit about, if it's a short story, how you came up with the character. And essentially, after you've gone back and selected this piece of work, you're going to practice this before doing it on the day of the finals. So once you're up there in front of the class and reading aloud, your audience job, once you're part of an audience, as you all will be throughout most of this process, is to listen and to be attentive and respectful. So you have a couple jobs. You have to select a piece of writing that you want to share. You're going to read it with the class, and you're going to be a respectful, attentive audience member when it's time for other people to share their writing. Remember that this final is 10% of your final semester grade, so it has a pretty large weight, and it is required. Even if you are someone who is a little bit shy and maybe is not so courageous as far as coming up in front of a class and sharing it, remember that this is part of the expectation of this class. So I have faith in you, and I think that you can do it. It might take a little bit more practice and a little more guts than some of us who are a little more comfortable up here, but I think we can all do it when it comes down to it. Alright, so even though this isn't a speech class, a few things that you want to remember when you're speaking to a class is that you want to be heard, first of all, so you need to talk at a volume where everybody can hear you. You don't want to come up and just look at your paper the entire time and read like this so your voice doesn't project. Another thing that you need to remember is that you need to make eye contact, at least to a certain extent, with your audience. So you need to look around the room, and you also need to work on pacing so people can understand you. Pacing is basically how fast or slow that you read. You also want to practice your diction, meaning you read something aloud, make sure that everybody can understand the words. Posture is another important part of speaking in front of a group. You don't want to come up here and just kind of like lounge and hang on the actual podium. You want to try to look confident. If you want to put your hands up here and put what you're reading up here on the podium, that might make it a little easier. But you do want to also look at least like you don't want to crawl into a shell when you're up here. You want to look somewhat confident. So just make sure you pay attention to those few things. Try practicing your work aloud too, so you don't pause and say ah and all those types of things in between what you're reading as well. So those are the biggies: your diction, your posture, your eye contact, and your volume. So as you come up here and read, you just want to make sure that your audience connects with you to a certain degree. Okay?
Talk to me poem, I'm all alone. Nobody understands what I'm saying. Have you been in jail poem? A lot of poems go to jail, like a lot of women who get tired of no good men. Do no good poems beat up on people? Do no good poems say I'm sorry the next day? I know poems are lost because they're always being found. They're on wanted posters, milk bottles, and lonesome guitars in the night looking for a poem to take home.